this recording.
Amen. In the name of Jesus, let this thing record. Blessings.
Can I get an amen? Nah.
Amen.
Hallelujah.
God, right now, touch Corey's computer. Let it not act a fool. In my name we pray, amen.
Praise the Lord.
I never understood why black people say Lord.
I didn't either. We had a pastor at the Akron Baptist Temple who did that. He's the oldest white guy you've ever seen. He was like, he would like scream hallelujah, like hallelujah, and I'm like, oh my god, what's happening? Passing the basket down to your left.
To your left.
Now I'm thinking of Eddie Murphy and she's a queen to be. Oh, what is that movie?
Oh my gosh.
Not the Golden Child. No.
America.
Coming to America. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you talking about the pastor?
Yeah, and the black deacon put the Arsenio Hall put the chicken wing in the
Wow.
Oh
no.
I'm so sorry.
What's happening?
I'm sorry, everybody.
Oh, that's fine. Anyways, I need to try to do this social media stuff today too. That's fine. We'll figure it out. All right, everybody ready? Because I'm ready.
Yes.
Ready.
Let's roll.
All right. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Standard Definition, the Retro Nostalgia podcast here on the Boss Rush Network. I'm one of your hosts, Corey Dirrig, and alongside me, as always, is my brother and a half shell, that retro code Eddie V.
Hello, everybody.
Also joining us, you know him, you love him, our TMNT sensei, if you will, LaMont
Ooh, I
Reed.
like that.
Oh, what? I wish I had some pizza.
Oh my gosh! Wouldn't that
Oh
be
goodness, I want some right now too.
So, as of this recording, we're leaving for vacation tomorrow. And there's like 5 pizza places within walking distance of our hotel.
Oh,
I looked it up.
wow.
I'm so
Oh,
excited.
yeah, that sounds like a vacation to me.
Yes.
Yeah.
That sounds like a snack tendo when you get back, if you can.
Yeah. It'll be good.
Yes.
It'll be fine. It's gonna be good. Yeah. So we're here to talk about the 3rd Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, just called Teenage Mutant Turtles 3, but we lovingly call it Turtles in Time because they go back in time, which is a really interesting premise. They also, by the way, what really annoys me now is that they use the Turtles from Turtles 3 on the box art of Turtles 1, 2, 3, and 4, even though these aren't the Turtles from 1 and 2 or the animated movie. And it really bothers me. Because
yeah, I don't know what they were going for on that one, but yeah.
Yeah. Also, did you know that the internet is calling TMNT, the animated movie, just Ninja Turtles 4? Did you know that the internet has started calling that Turtles 4?
No.
I mean, I know that technically it's like a semi-reboot / sequel to these, right? Like, that has the Easter eggs and stuff in it from the previous movies, right? Like Shredder's helmet on Splinter's shelf and some Foot Clan stuff and a TGRI ooze tube and stuff. But, like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Turtles 4 just doesn't sit right with me.
No.
It's TMNT 2007, everybody. Come on. Which we'll do next time. But
Right. Yeah.
other exciting news, though. Well, we're going to get Turtles 3, I promise. It's just, we did this the last time we talked about Turtles 3. We just did not talk about Turtles 3. I think we talked about Batman. Did you see
We
that?
did.
Did you see that Seth Rogen's Turtles movie got a release date?
Yeah,
Yeah.
next year.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm cautiously optimistic. I don't like the font. I just don't like the font.
Now, is it supposed to be like a real life or is it animated?
I think it's both.
Yeah, it's animated.
I think the turtles are
I'm mixed on
CG.
the logo myself. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
I'm mixed on the logo myself. I do like how the ooze was kind of like sliding down off the picture and onto the street. I thought that was pretty cool looking, but
Yeah.
other than that, I don't know. I saw some concept art of how they're going to look, but they didn't officially say that was what they're going to be.
Mhm.
I wasn't too thrilled by it, but I don't know. I wasn't initially thrilled with TMNT 2012 or Rise at first, and then it just grew on me. So this probably will too. So
Yeah. It's it's completely CG animated. Okay. Well,
oh,
Okay.
I'm reading the article on IGN right now. I don't know. I want like a live action. It's fine. I'll watch it. I'll probably do what I did with the last couple movies and be like, I don't want to see this, and then I'll actually like them. So, because I'm an awful human. I'm the person with all these fandoms out there, right? LaMont, I'm sure you're like this too with Turtles. You're very protective of Ninja Turtles, but like every time someone's like, "Oh, they killed Star Wars. Oh, Star Trek sucks because there's 9,000 shows. Oh, Marvel is too many movies." I'm like, shut up. Just watch it. You're gonna watch it.
Right.
But then when a new Turtles something comes around, my first thing is to like cringe, right? Because I'm like,
Yeah.
it's not Turtles 1 or 2.
See, to me, it's never that. I want to see the action scenes, the fight scenes, and I want to see how well choreographed they are, or how comedic they are. Because in this movie, kind of realized that they actually did a lot of kicking, a lot of footwork in this movie.
There's a lot of. It's weird because like we talked about how they wanted to like tone it down for kids and not use their weapons in Turtles 2, and in this movie they're just like, what if they fought guys with guns? It's like, what?
I didn't think of that.
You know,
What
if we shot a giant cannonball at Leonardo? That'd be hilarious. Like, what? Oh, man, I just yeah. Anyways, so Ninja Turtles 3. Actually, you know what? Before I get to that, we're gonna shout out our patrons.
Yes.
If you head on over to patreon.com/BossRushNetwork, you can support Standard Definition as well as our other content here on the Boss Rush Network by going over to Patreon. For $1, you get 4 shows, early access, 4 shows, 1 to 2 weeks early. Who doesn't want that? Right? But if you subscribe at the $5 level, you become a Patreon producer. What does that mean? Well, it means you get early access still to the shows, but you also get your name shouted out on this here program, as well as all of the other ones. So, without further ado, let's shout out some patrons, shall we? Our Patreon producers for this episode of Standard Definition. I almost said the Boss Rush podcast, but this is not the Boss Rush podcast. Of Standard Definition are Adriel Munger, Celeste Roberts, my wife, Sana Dirrig, Francisco Santillan, and Rebecca Jewell. I want to thank all of our Patreon producers. I want to thank all of our patrons, and I want to thank all of our free listeners who have supported the show for so long. If you listen on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please leave us a 5-star rating and review. A quick note about Standard Definition. At the end of August, that it is the last time the show will be weekly. I think we're going to move the show to every other week just to accommodate schedules and accommodate some of the new content that we're kind of releasing bi-weekly as well. Like we are bringing back Talk the Walk, which is a very similar style show to this, but for walking simulator games and cozy games and I would say action light games like Life is Strange and, Telltale games and stuff like that. Also, we are going to be doing more interviews coming soon. So, we're going to kind of move standard definition to every other week. We're still going to give you patrons starting in September. You're going to get the same amount of shows, early access, the same amount of content. You're just going to be getting a couple extra things every other week besides standard definition. So just wanted to throw that out there. I think when this goes up, there will be one more after this weekly, and then we will move to the bi-weekly situation. So just want to let everybody know that. Give you guys a heads up. And but let's talk Ninja Turtles, guys.
Yes.
Ninja Turtles 3 came out on March 19th, 1993. Reporter April O'Neil purchases an ancient Japanese scepter that can cause those simultaneously holding in different centuries to switch places in time. When she is transported to 16th century Japan, her crime-fighting pals, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, pursue her. After landing in the past, the Ninja Turtles learn April has been captured by the villainous Lord Norinaga. To rescue her, they must team up with the rebel leader, Misu. So, I'm going to get into the other stuff in a second. The budget was $21 million, which was almost 3 times that of the first movie. The box office, it made $54.4 million, so not nearly as much. 1993 was kind of the end of the hype for Ninja Turtles. I would say it was on a downward trajectory for a while before this movie came out. And it kind of didn't make a lot of money. But how did you guys feel about Turtles 3 rewatching it for this?
So, I will say, rewatching it now, it's not bad, and I think it's seeing it like it kind of like in a HD, kind of more clear quality. Mm-hmm. The turtles are more detailed and defined.
Really? You think the turtles are more detailed?
Yeah, because they look skinnier than like the first and second one, because they kind of look bigger in the other ones, and I think it's because
necks are skinnier. Yeah, noticed that too.
Because it's that part where they come out dancing, doing doing this, and then at points in time they each get their own individual intro where they are using their weapon and doing a lot of kicks and stuff. So it looks like in the costumes that they're wearing, they're more lively, to move around and do more martial arts stuff. So looking at that and watching it, just like, okay, they still got some jokes. The action, there's actually fight scenes. You see them using their weapons, but they mostly are, like we said earlier, that they're doing kicks and stuff. And there's that one cool part where I think it's when Donatello and Leonardo, I think, they said high kick instead of doing a high five, and they both do a high kick instead, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool, paying attention. So I think this one, turtle wise, looking at them, they look better, and because of the action that they're able to fight and everything, still using their bodies and using the weapons kind of to block. Besides Donatello, he was able to get away to hit people with the bow and everything. It was
the dance.
Oh, go ahead.
I just remember the dance sequence at the beginning being super ridiculous and super dumb. I was rewatching it today. I actually didn't hate it. I actually thought it was pretty fun. And like I don't know, for some reason watching it today, I just like cuz like I remember the last time we did this, Ed, for our old group, right?
Yeah.
During the movie commentary and just like the kind of review thing that we did after, like I remember hating this movie rewatching it, like how stupid it was.
Yeah.
And like I was watching it today, I was like, this movie's not really that bad, right? Like, okay, Splinter looks substantially worse, and he sounds substantially worse.
His tone is lighter.
Yeah, I mean it's a different actor, so I mean,
Yeah.
I didn't hate the turtles how they look this time around, right? The box art that they show looks terrible, but I actually didn't really hate that. I like that they brought Corey Feldman back as Donatello from the first movie. Like,
yeah,
I
was happy with that too.
I like there are things that I liked about this movie a lot, and then there are things that I didn't really care for. Right, like Splinter, kind of wasn't great in this movie. Casey Jones super underutilized. Although I totally forgot that he played a different character in the past.
Yeah. But he was underutilized even in the past too. I was while watching him, just like they didn't really do a lot with this actor.
I wonder if they shot a lot of scenes and they cut it for time or budget, or they just some other reason, right? I like the honor guard suits when they wear them, like the masks and stuff. Like I remember having those Ninja Turtle toys, like. Which is weird because I would have been, well, I guess I only would have been like 7 or 8 when these toys came out, but like I remember like the masks, and I just remember having those toys. I thought they were the coolest thing, and I still liked them in this movie. There are scenes in this movie where, like, when Michelangelo goes in the burning house to save the kid, right? That was super awesome. Like that was a cool scene. And there's just a lot that I picked up during this rewatch that I just didn't I guess I just didn't watching it beforehand, probably because I was paying attention this time, and last time I was just watching it like, oh my gosh, this is stupid, let's talk about something else.
Yeah, because like even when you see them fighting and they're hitting everybody, they have these cartoon zany sound effects.
Yeah,
just like kicking them, they be like boing.
They definitely,
it's just like,
I mean, this movie definitely had more in line with the cartoons, right, than the previous versions, I would say.
Yeah, they took the it. I think it was just for this one. It felt like, okay, we're not going to pay attention to those moms, and we're going to be able to do this for the fans. Whether you're a kid, a teenager, or adult, if you love the Ninja Turtles, you know what it is. If the moms don't get it, well, that's on them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lamont, what about you? What do you think of this movie?
So everyone, and I mean everyone, knows I'm a huge fan of TMNT.
What?
And and I'm ashamed to say this. When I first saw this movie in the theater, I mean, I had high expectations and everything. I fell asleep. That's not like me at all. But rewatching it, it's fun to watch. There are a lot of stuff that I guess I just didn't quite understand. I thought it was a bold move to, I guess, go with the movie without having Shredder. But we know he was killed, and they still robbed us of a fighting scene with Super Shredder. But no, that's just my thing. But I really loved like you were mentioning how Michelangelo went to save the kid from the fire, and I loved how Raphael lectured the little boy and on his temper and everything. I thought that was pretty cool. And Leonardo was the only one who was able to ride the horse perfectly, and Dante was like, I hate that guy. And I like those little fun moments. But a lot of the stuff I don't know. So this is going to be weird. We're talking about this, and there's a show that I've recently been watching simply because I just like watching Ninja Turtles, and that is Next Mutation.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Venus de Milo. Oh my gosh.
It's so wow. But we're
Questionable content.
Yeah.
That's one way to put it.
Yeah. But it's definitely has its good moments. I wasn't really the big fan of the look of the turtles. Yeah, they were skinny. I guess now that you mentioned it, I just thought they were skinnier. The eyes were pretty buggy. You can see them like kind of move all around at some points.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't know. I enjoy watching it, for what it is now,
It's so funny if you look at the names of some of the characters. Like Yoshi is the boy, where Yoshi's the dinosaur in Super Mario Bros. Kenshin is from Rurouni Kenshin, a well-known name. Miso, you think of miso soup. And then you got the.
It just sounds like you're being racist, Ed.
No, it's like I think. It's just like if you look at it during that time, you wouldn't recognize those names. But now that pop culture has kind of somewhat advanced and people know where some of that stuff come from. Like you now know what Yoshi's from the Mario series. If you were watching Cartoon Network, Rurouni Kenshin and everything. If you have been part of the Warrior games and stuff, like Nobunaga and the Dynasty Warrior games and stuff. So you kind of have an idea, like, oh, they picked some names that, at that time you're not really familiar of because you're a kid and you never heard of those things. But as an adult, you could be like, oh, that's cool, Yoshi. Oh, that makes me think of Mario. That makes me think of these other characters and everything. So I think it's kind of cool with just some of the names and everything. And there, the one thing I didn't expect was closer to the end was when Nobunaga and Leonardo was fighting, and he turned his katanas into a scissors and cut that top part off. And then Nobunaga was running, and then because the thing about it is, it's that bell that falls on Nobunaga, but earlier in the movie, Wallace or Walter, I think his name, or William, whatever the enemy name is, he shot that same bell with his gun to stop the Nobunaga from killing Kenshin in it. And it has a shot where you see the part of the bell and the rope on it. And not realizing as a kid that shot is going to play a part later on in the movie.
Yeah.
I
didn't pick that up at all. I'm gonna be honest with you.
We watching it now. That's what I picked up on. I was just like, wait a minute. Like watching it feels like, okay, now I see it.
I mean, I know I'm the movie guy here on Boss Rush, but I did not pick that up.
Yeah. It's that one little shot because it has the rope, and then when Nobunaga was running, he stopped. The past Casey Jones, I don't know what his name is, he cuts the rope and the bell falls on him. Now you would think that the bell would kill him, but it's such a Looney Tunes thing that he was just like caught up in the bell. And Donatello just whacked it, and it's just like boom. It's like some Tom and Jerry stuff,
right?
And then because I didn't even know what Leonardo's plan was. There was to be like, shoot us yourself, and everything. Because definitely
they thought his bluff, man.
Yeah, they thought that they were demons, and I guess they was doing the wet your hand and then tickle in the air. And when the one guy, his sidekick, was just like, he was doing it like scaring everybody. It was just like, oh, I forgot that they did all of this in this movie and everything. And then Leonardo ducked his head and the cannonball hit it. I thought Nobunaga should have been dead. But then the bell like crumbled like it was like a one of those Easter egg candies where you break off part of the chocolate. And then he comes in with this Tina Turner hairstyle looking on.
Tina Turner
And
hairstyle.
someone called him what was Mike Tyson's side thing? Don he had the weird he was a black man with the weird hair.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
You're talking about oh my oh gosh, come on, Lamont. Don I met him. Oh,
it's not Don Cheadle.
No. Don Cheadle's
no, it's not him. Don.
Hold on.
Because
Don
it was
King.
funny. Don King, yeah. He's like, look, it's Don King. And he was just like, you wouldn't catch the Turtles making that reference in it.
Wow. Wow.
So yeah.
What was the lady's name again? Miso?
Yeah.
Miso, yes.
She was
Miso?
cool. I actually really liked her in this movie.
Me too.
Yeah.
Except for her and Michelangelo's weird, like, love triangle.
But that was the most unacquainted love. Because it felt like Michelangelo was falling for her, but she didn't give that feeling back because she was so in love with Kenshin.
Yeah. Well,
And I understand, like, because at the end, like, Michelangelo and Raphael didn't want to leave. They wanted to stay there. And Miso was just like, no, you got to go back. I need my Kenshin. And, Raphael was just like, he was coming such a inspiration and father figure kind of to Yoshi that it was kind of changing him. It's just like, the guys in the early movies, they've been telling me to control my rage, and now I'm passing that wisdom down to you because you should live as a kid. You shouldn't have this upset and rage and everything. I understand what you're doing because you guys are a village, but you should be out having fun. You should be out there being the kid. And then that's why Raphael was just like, wait a minute, did I just say that? It's one of those recognizable moments that as a character, that you realize that, man, the guy's been telling. Yes. It's part of character development. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there is a lot to there's a lot to not like about the movie, like the 4 honor guards that go back, right? They just become idiots, right? You're like, how are these guys protecting the emperor of Japan at this point, right? Like, no wonder the English came down here and just took over, right? I mean, these guys are idiots. But yeah, I just I don't know. I felt really different about this movie today. I mean, it's definitely not the best one, right? It's still it's still the worst. But it's not as bad as I remember it being, which is good.
Yeah, I had some laughs for this one.
Yeah.
It was kind of weird when April cut off that the outfit that she's wearing. Yeah. So she had that dress, and Leonardo Donatello was just like, "Woohoo, bodacious," or something like that. Yeah.
Or like, what was really funny when Michelangelo was making the pizza. I think it was the same scene, and he burns it, and he goes to bite into it. Yeah. So he's like, "Frisbees are also cool," and then he hits Donatello and the blacksmith guy, in the face with it. I'm like, man, first of all, he just picked that pizza up out of the oven, burnt, right, without even letting it sit and cool, right. Second of all, if it's that burnt and that hard that you think it's a Frisbee, have you ever picked up a pizza that big before? Like, it's heavy. And if it's rock hard, that would have knocked them both out. Just
was a-
throwing that out there.
That was Udo's deep dish pizza just burnt to a crisp. Because he threw that mug. It didn't. Well, what happened is I thought it would like crush or something, but that mug bounced off like it was a pinball thing. I'm like, oh, this is some nonsense. But what was really crazy was that Michelangelo was making a thin crust pizza before he checked on the other one. So it's just like, wait a minute. This is two different sizes. Like, I'm like, wow. Like, I hope they had like seasoning and like tomato sauce and stuff. Because I'm like, Michelangelo, you should know by now.
Yeah. What did they even put on this pizza? You know,
I
that's
really
my
don't
big
know.
question, right? You're making this Italian. I mean, I'm not going to go there because I get upset every time. But like, you're making this traditionally Italian dish in, Japan. Do you have tomatoes? Do you have the right kind of sausages to make pepperoni and sausage and these kinds of things? Are you putting like these people are probably like farmers or something. Are you putting corn
Yeah.
on there? Are you putting rice? Rice pizza. Delicious.
That's what I was thinking. Rice,
Noodles,
tomatoes,
ramen.
I mean, I guess you could put like anchovies on it, but who wants that? Gross.
So I will say I will say that I think this movie was easier to digest, because it flowed very well. There was some, of course, the slapstick sound effects with the fights to balance out the fights, that to be like, yeah, these fights are somewhat not violent but entertaining. But we're gonna put the sound effects in to like balance this out, so it don't sound like they're really hitting them hard, or if it's too much for a kid and everything. We're gonna have fun with them and be goofy, because like you gotta see from Secret of the Ooze, they made that movie so that they could get around all the complaints and stuff. It was like their fights was jokey, so they can't really fight with their weapons or really do martial arts and stuff, even though probably some of those moms got their kids in martial arts because of turtles.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like the '87 cartoon when they started complaining about Michelangelo's nunchucks.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so all the fight scenes were, kicking a barrel instead of,
Mm.
No, I hated that grappling hook that Michelangelo had, but
yeah, it was bad.
Yeah.
And then like all the coloring books and stuff would have like Michelangelo and Donatello had bow staffs for a while, right? Like probably like in '91-ish, because I still have that journal somewhere. Like it's like a notebook with the Ninja Turtles on it, and it's this really cool black background, and Michelangelo's sitting there with a bow staff like Donatello. I'm like, what are you doing? What is this? I didn't understand. Gross. Get it right, guys. Come on.
Yes.
Come on. You're going to tell me that they can't use nunchucks and they have to fight with sausages and, whatever, but they can fight guys with guns? That's, again, probably pretty relevant in today's society. Guns are better. We don't want one of them ninja weapons. Them are dangerous. They're sharp.
Bias is okay as long as it's our choice of. I didn't understand it. I did not pick up on that until tonight with this conversation. They complain about the swords, but then you got a gun.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
That's hilarious.
The 90s were wild. What can I say? Man. No cool musical scene in this either. No Vanilla Ice or anything.
No, it was. I think it was just the little music they did have was when April had the Walkman.
Yeah,
and it was playing.
Oh, that was funny though. Like, she's like, "You could have just asked me to turn it off." Oh, it was so funny. Yeah, and then they put her in that box, and she like recognizes fake Casey Jones, right?
Yeah,
and then she sees a rat run by, and she's like, "Yeah, you look familiar too." Like, yeah.
You know,
Man.
you know what I was thinking when I was watching that? I was thinking, you know what? They could have reworked this whole storyline. Have it to where, you're going back to, you're in feudal Japan, go back to the history of the foot. Miso could have been Karai, and then there could have been, I guess the Foot Clan, and then you had Hamato Yoshi and Hiroko Saki going at, and I don't know. I'm weird. I was just sitting there
No,
thinking, like, hey, that could have been
I agree
that would
with
be
you.
really cool.
I agree with you, but it's. I mean, this was definitely, you could tell this was a studio movie and not a movie that was made by the creators of the product, right? Like it just.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I hear that arcade game. They go back in time. Ninjas are Japanese, right? Let's do that. They'll go back to Japan. But the villain's a white guy.
Still, right?
What?
This is New Line Cinema still, right?
What is it?
I think
is
so.
it? I think it is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
I wonder how Peter Laird and Kevin Eastman felt about this movie.
They probably hated it. Just like the rest of us. I mean, at that point, were they like, they were still, let's see. Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird were, it says they were, consultants on this movie.
Oh.
Written by Stuart Gillard? Let me see. He's a multi-award-winning director. I don't know. He's still. He just produced a TV. Oh, he produced the reboot of Charmed. Sorry, guy.
Oh wow.
Oh, he's really big on CW stuff. It looks like now.
Oh.
He's not very old. He was born in 1950, so I mean he's not like old. You know.
So he had to be like around 43 or something when he made this movie.
He wrote the movie. He wrote and directed the movie, it says. And Eastman and Laird were both consultants on this movie, according to IMDb cast and crew. So, all right, neat. Well, sorry, guy, you missed. You missed on this one. Try
but
harder next time.
I don't think the movie is terrible or anything.
No, like I said, I don't think it's terrible either. I actually liked it way better this time around.
Yeah, I think it's just missing those memorable moments like the first and second movie had. Like the first movie was such a surprise to see that they were making this movie, and you kind of got some cool moments here and there and stuff. And it kind of felt, it didn't feel like the cartoon. It felt like this is a third iteration of someone's take on the Ninja Turtles. And then you get the second one, and yeah, it's goofy and stuff, but you kind of know the plot. You kind of seen Shredder. You kind of were thinking that there will be two enemies along with Shredder, or the mutation was going to be used and everything, and still the Foot Clan. But then you get Vanilla Ice, and that becomes one of the biggest moments for that whole movie. When you hear Secret of Ooze, go ninja, go. It's the first thing that will come to your mind. If anyone ever said, if I could ask you what you know about the Turtles movie, what would be the first thing? Get a Vanilla Ice party will pop up, because that was a big thing. This one, it's a passable, decent movie, but nothing in there is memorable. None of the quotations, none of the jokes, and everything. It's literally, we like to call it, this is a chore movie that you throw it in the background and do chores to. So you're listening to it more like a podcast than you actually realizing it, and everything.
Yeah.
Sure. Huh. That's one way of putting it.
I mean,
Yeah.
I watched it while I did my work today. So, I mean, like I worked from home today. And I watched it while I was, managing podcasts and working on website stuff and not for not for Boss Rush. I actually do that for a living. I don't want to do anything that this is what we do for a living. It'd be cool someday maybe.
Right.
But no, that's actually my day job also. So yeah, I thought I mean I did try to watch it, but also, it's I don't know, it's fine.
Keywords, try to watch it.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually like the suits better in motion than the older ones, but when they're like kind of static, you can definitely tell like, their mouth movements were way different. Like you could see the robot slits underneath their masks right here, like very kind of clumsy things that probably could have been caught, So
yeah, it kind of felt like a redesign of the Turtles.
Oh, they are. They're all redesigned. Also, I think it's funny where they're like Donatello at one point was looking at the scrolls of the what were they called, the god turtles, the gods on the scroll. And he was like, yeah, and he was like, they have this one. This one's Raph. He has Raph's beak, and I'm like, you guys have the same facial structure. I don't know what you're talking about. The only turtle that looks different is Leonardo. Like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, Raphael does says that, this place is so relaxing. I feel like I want to migrate here. And Donatello says migration is for birds. He's just like, well, I have a beak. And this is like, yeah, that is true. So,
man, Ed's picking up all this.
Oh yeah, I like how Raphael was like, it's like feel that air, that water, no beer cans, no tires.
Yeah.
Huh. I like how he's closing his eyes. You can really see the expression.
Yeah.
Like more zen Raphael. Like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, and it was Raphael when he was in the present time in the sewers. He was telling like the Turtles and Splinter that he was just like, why are we doing all of this training if we can't really, we can't be visible, where we feel unappreciated. And when he went back in the past to Feudal Japan, like when everything started, coming together, he felt more accepted. That's why he kind of really wanted to stay, is because he felt accepted and appreciated. He got a friend with Yoshi. He got protectors of the town and everything. Like he actually felt something that quenched his, I shouldn't say quench his thirst, that, made him realize that this is what I wish we had in the present. So I could use my skills and everything because I feel accepted and appreciated than I did feel in the present time while in New York. That's
what I wanted to stay. Yeah.
Because like when they go back, it's just like we gotta once again go back to hiding in the shadows. We could train and everything, but it's just like we should be able to go out and just fight. If people be like, what the heck, turtles fighting? They should know that we're fighting for good. We should be visible. We don't care about being big heroes or something, but we should be out there stopping crime. This is what we train for.
Yeah. Well, that is true, because look how quickly the people accepted them. No one was like running away. Where's all this? Yeah.
And I think
of that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's because of catching Michelangelo when he got hit with the stick and when Miso hit him, and it was just like, whoa, he fell off. It's just like, And I'm surprised that they was able to get Michelangelo on that cart and just push him like it was nothing. I was just like, Michelangelo is probably about 200 or 50 some pounds of muscle in being a turtle, and y'all must just get him out the scene. And what I found weird was that the grandpa or the chief of the village told Yoshi to go and get the time mechanic and bring it back. And it's weird in a sense that you would let this little boy go into the woods with, not being seen. But the camera is like literally in an overhead position and not an under position to match like the height of Yoshi. Because Yoshi looks like he's like 4 or 5 years old. He's a small little boy. And this shot made him look like he was kind of taller or something.
Yeah, I don't know. There are other parts of this movie that are just bad. I hated the villain in this movie, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know we kind of talked about it earlier, but man, it's bad. Oh my gosh, what are you doing?
Walter's
I was
his
thinking
name.
of that whole rework the storyline thing.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, that's an interesting way to go. Like, if we were to kind of rewrite this third movie, like, what would we have changed? Lamont, you seem to have pretty good ideas. I know you said this could have been like the birth of the Foot Clan and Karai and stuff. Like, that's a pretty compelling point. Do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah. Let me ask you, well, who was Casey supposed to be in the past? Like, was that his ancestor or
He was just a different person.
he was just a different person?
Yeah. Because he got,
okay.
for some reason, he got caught and was just like, they'll kill me if I stay here. So he had to, like, 'cause even his accent was different.
Mm-hmm.
But he was kind of also working for Walter. So he might have been part of Walter's crew or something and may have got caught. I don't know what he did.
He seemed like a mercenary who would like kind of do anything for money. It's kind of what it seemed like, because like he wasn't part of the crew because he was captured at first, remember, and then they hired him, which didn't make sense to me. Like, if you're gonna capture this guy and hang him, why would you turn around and pay him to do something? You know what I mean? That sounded like I don't know. Especially after he like escaped, like he. I don't know. That story element did not make any sense to me. But I think they just like this felt like they got the actor back to play Casey Jones, and he wasn't playing Casey Jones, and they wanted to utilize him somewhere else, and this felt like, well, this is what we're doing to utilize him.
Oh, is it because to tone down his violent side? Is that what?
No, just to give him something to do. Because if you look at the movie when he's in the present, he only they brought him back first of all because he wasn't into. So they brought him back, and he became the babysitter because the warlords for Nobunaga was the exchange for the turtles.
Right.
And so they told him, hey, Casey, you could stay with Splinter and watch those guys, watch all 5 of them, while we try to get April back. That was kind of his role. And then he kind of like introduced them to hockey with the TV. And then when he tried to teach them hockey, they were just like, hockey. And they started beating each other up. He took them to the bar and everything. He was just a babysitter. But in the past, he was a different person. They tried to give him more. Since they had him, they were just like, okay, we need you to be more into the movie. So you're going to play this other character. So we give you more to do.
Yeah.
In it. And he did some stuff, but not much. So it kind of looked like, and I don't know if they did this, that they shot all of his parts with his long hair the present stuff all together in one part, and then when they went back in time, they cut his hair and gave him a beard or did whatever makeup to have him look as the other character.
I think the
They
the Casey Jones hair is the wig. I think it's a wig in this movie. It wasn't in the first movie, but I think it's a wig in this movie because there was another project he was doing at the time, which is why he had short hair in the other.
Okay.
You know.
Oh.
So.
It does look wiggy, in a sense.
Yeah. The beard looks good though. He's got a good beard.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah. So my idea of the story. Okay. April goes to the flea market. A mysterious figure drops off this scepter. She gets it somehow, brings it back. It cuts on. The Turtles and Splinter are warped into this thing. They go back to feudal Japan. The mysterious figure happens to be Karai because she knew about Shredder being killed and all of that. In the past, Shredder's alive, and she's trying to out the Turtles in the past. So, of course, out Splinter. So, of course, without Splinter, there wouldn't be the Turtles and all of that. And they try to stop them. And I don't know. That would have been so cool.
Yeah.
That would have been so cool if they did something like that. But, no.
But then would Shredder have to be like a supernatural being? Because they go back to the 15th century, like would he have to be like a supernatural kind of being? I mean, that'd be cool. That'd be even cooler, I think. Like Shredder just reincarnates every whatever. I mean, I know that's kind of like a dumb story, but so is, Turtles who know ninja moves. So, I mean, it wouldn't be that out of the realm of possibility. I think that'd be really cool if Shredder, Shredder was like this dominant kind of, like he played different parts in history almost. Like, he would he would be like a different kind of bad guy in history every century or two, right? And yeah, that'd be super cool.
Yeah.
And like he remembers when he comes back, he remembers who he is, right? Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah. That will be cool. Yeah. Oh man. Well.
Look at us, guys. Brainstorming stuff.
We should write this down and email this to Kevin Eastman and say, hey, look, this is an idea. And, because I'm actually friends with his wife on Facebook.
Really?
They have a TMNT fan group on there, and his wife is actually on there. Well, he is too, but I don't really see him online that much, obviously. But yeah.
That's cool though.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's see. What else do we want to talk about this movie? I mean,
Splinter.
Yeah, no.
See, Splinter doesn't do much in here.
The first two movies, they made him look like he looked so good in terms of like looking like a real figure, right? Like, okay, a walking rat is dumb, right? But like, he looked like he would fit, right? Like he looked real, and he looked like a figure that would be walking around, and this one, he just looks stupid, like his face, he looks like a dog, first of all, not a rat. His and what's wrong with his fingers? Why are his knuckles so big? Like every joint on his fingers are like marbles. I don't get it.
All I can say is budget. That's all I can say.
It doesn't matter. If they were worried about budget, why did they make a new robot? Why didn't they just use the old one?
I definitely didn't see him walk on this one. He was just
sitting there. So I think it was. I don't know. Jim Henson had a hand in the first two movies.
He did it in the first movie. He did. His son did the second movie. And I don't
So that
know
might,
what happened with this movie.
yeah, they may have not had anybody from the Henson Company to do the third. So they probably found like an alternate, like Aldi's brand,
Oh,
um,
Aldi's brand. Hey, Aldi's brand is
designer.
good.
It is good. I'm just
I
talking
like
about.
that.
I'm just talking about, to make the reference so that it's easier for people to comprehend or understand, I should say, that it wasn't. It was good enough just to be like, well, he doesn't move much and he really won't say much, so just make this thing so we could just prop it up, move it around, and call it a day.
Hold on. I'm reading an article. Who did it? Who did them? Nope, that sounds terrible. Nope. It's just bringing up Mausers. Who did the Turtles?
And it looked like the Laird that they was in was different from the second movie.
I mean, I think they tried to say, hey, look, they're still on the subway, but they're not.
If you realize the lighting even changed in the movie, so when it was too late for Michelangelo to get back in time, spoilers everybody, if you haven't watched this movie, the Turtles return back, but Michelangelo misses the point. Kenshin is still there. Kenshin runs, starts going up the ladder with the time mechanic. And when he gets up, it does like the Last Dragon. No, Big Trouble in Little China with the electricity. It does that. And then the light turns yellow and Michelangelo comes down with the staff. With the time mechanic. And when you see it, it's dark because it's showing Michelangelo. And then when it touches down, it goes back to regular light to show everything. I was like, oh, that was kind of cool. But when I seen the electricity, I'm just like, oh, that's Big Trouble in Chinatown, where the little electric dude is coming down, and you see the electric stuff going in. I was just like, oh wait, oh wow, someone like worked up. Was it John Carpenter? I think it was John Carpenter for Big Trouble in Little China, the Michael Douglas feature film.
Yeah. Oh, I gotta see that shot again.
That's a movie that I wish that
I didn't think of.
That's a movie I really wish got a sequel. Was Big Trouble in Little China. I've never understood why it didn't, because when
didn't
not Michael Douglas. I'm sorry, everybody. No.
Wow.
Russell.
Yeah.
Russ.
Russ.
Are you stuck? Kurt Russell?
Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell. Yeah.
So, sorry, just to interrupt you.
No.
Back to the question. About halfway through the film, they had extreme budget cuts, and they weren't able to use the Jim Henson Company because they were too expensive, and they required expensive sets because they were in feudal Japan. So they they used a new special effects company called the All Effects Company.
Once again, the Audi brand.
That sounds generic.
Yeah. They did all the costuming and the effects, including the turtle costumes.
See, that's why I feel like I'm not knocking them for the turtle costumes. I'm like, they did good.
They weren't. I mean, they grew on me.
Mm-hmm.
Except, I mean, like I said earlier, the only thing I didn't like were you could see the robotic eyes underneath the bandanas. They could have pulled the bandanas down a little bit, But I was going to say something else. Oh, speaking of costumes, I really liked the idea that Michelangelo put on shorts because he didn't want the honor guard that replaced him to come back naked.
Yeah.
And then everybody literally had on like a onesie when they came back. I was like, what are you doing? These are just aprons strapped around your balls. Like, this is gross.
And normally in feudal Japan, they wouldn't have aprons. They wouldn't have that. They would literally have like some cloth wrapped around their parts, and like part of the cloth would be behind their cheeks in the back.
Yeah.
So
Like,
yeah, so they had to really make it right. They really had to make it G-rated. So I think that's why they put on these chef-looking aprons and stuff. Because it's like, wait a minute, they're really tucked, like good, so you couldn't see anything. But then when the other dude came back with Michelangelo shorts, it was just like, okay, those three dudes had the aprons. Was you butt naked back in the freedom of Japan for that to happen? I'm like, wow. Because the thing about it is that even when this is the funny thing. So when they switch roles, and everything, the turtles were supposed to be in the clothing that the warlords were in. But they came back just in their regular turtle gear. When the warlords got back in time,
there's continuity error. It's fine.
Yeah.
Look, at that point, everybody was just ready for the movie to be over, and they didn't care how the turtles came back. Okay, they didn't care. Nobody cares.
It was just so weird seeing it. Like watching it now, you can pick up on that stuff. But it's kind of cool. They once again they did the little Hulk Hogan dance, because I think it was Hulk Hogan that did that. Michelangelo joins them. But it was kind of funny that Michelangelo says there's nothing that will make me laugh or smile, and then you see Splinter, being the dad that he is, put on that limp thing and make fun of himself and everything to get him to laugh and everything. And that was kind of cool and stuff. And they do their dance, they go back, and then they just start freestyling, and then freeze frame, and then the credits roll.
Yeah.
And that's when I grabbed my popcorn and left the theater, because I was just like, what the word did I just watch?
Right.
And as a kid, I was just like, oh, that was cool. Ninja Turtles Fire in the Time. Second time, or watching it with Corey and Jesse for AX commentary, was just like, what the heck did we just watch? Like, we literally had a whole nother podcast while the movie was going. This time, it's just like, okay, I see it for what it is. It's cool. It's fine.
Yeah. Any final thoughts before we head into ranking the theme song dance thing number and the movie?
Oh, shoot. I don't even know how to rank this, dude. Does it get an I for incomplete?
Well, I just want to know if anybody has any final thoughts before we start ranking this thing.
For me, well, I think Ed put it best. Nothing really stood out as unforgettable, but it's still something good to watch. It's just
this feels
right
like
in the middle.
It just feels like, if you're watching all the movies, you're just gonna watch this movie because you're watching them all, right? It's the same thing for me with
pretty much
with Indiana Jones. Like, I love Raiders of the Lost Ark and Last Crusade, and Temple of Doom is just like, I'll watch it because it's the second movie, I guess.
I feel like that if you're watching this movie, that you somehow still appreciate and love the Turtles because you're watching the cartoon. I think it was by CBS or something. I kind of felt like I understand what this movie is, but if I want to kind of feel like I'm watching something memorable or something, it feels like the opposite of The Wizard in a sense. Like if you go and watch The Wizard, even though that was like really focused on Nintendo and everything, this is a kind of a video game movie. Something about it stands out, and nothing in this movie really stands out. Even the action is good for kids and stuff, but there's nothing like stand out like Secret of the Ooze. Like when Donatello is on the rocket thing and he points out and hits the dude, it starts beating him with the loofah thing, like or or seeing Kano go in and fight and stuff. Like there's something about the other two movies, like I said, that has some memorable parts, and I feel like this would have been better if there was something more memorable. Like even the writing, like there are some jokes, but I didn't even take time down to write any of the jokes in it or stuff. I mean, there was some funny stuff with the Don King stuff. Yeah, the visual gags, there were some good ones, but yeah, it's such a chore movie that you just throw it on the background. And I just like if you were to listen to this like as a podcast, maybe you would enjoy it more. But yeah, there's nothing about it. It's a decent passable movie.
Yeah. I mean, for me, all I can say is still not good. Better than I remember. That's all.
I don't even remember the theme. I don't even remember the theme song to this.
I mean, the theme song would be just the song where they're dancing in the beginning. I think. Not. I mean, again, fun but not memorable. So
I couldn't even tell you.
So, yeah. So, where do we want to rank this movie? Last place for now. I mean,
yeah,
there's no way it's better than 1 or 2, right? I mean,
what is the ranking now? Is it?
It's number 1 is the original. It's in order. The number 1 is the original, and number 2 is Secret of the Ooze.
Okay.
So this would probably sit at 3 for now. I'm assuming it won't stay at 3.
I think like all the turtle movies that have come out so far in ranking, I would probably put this in the last.
Yeah. I wouldn't. I think I would keep this at 3rd. I think that animated one that came after this is last.
But it has the Leo Raff fight scene, which automatically elevates it.
No, no, that's not good enough.
Look, the next time we do this, we're going to discuss it, okay?
We're going to discuss it.
I haven't seen the animated movie in a long time. I watched that clip of Netflix, Raph and Leo fighting.
On Netflix.
Is it?
I know when we did the commentary for that one, that was the first time of me watching it. So when I rewatch it, this would be my second one, and I'm probably gonna be like,
That was probably the last time I watched it was with you and Jesse when we did the movie commentary, I think.
Yeah. I mean, in my mind, I kind of have a ranking and everything.
Yeah, I mean, so do I, but this is why we do this, to see,
Yes. LaMont is just going to be the factor of breaking it. To be like, do we all have the 3 have the same ranking, or does it change stuff? But I would say like this was for right now. It's number 3. I think when we get to the next movie, I think the ranking part is going to be more the debatable part than it is the movie itself.
Yeah.
Well, neat. So I'm guessing the theme song, since we don't even know the name of the theme song, it's probably yeah. I'm Mutant.
I didn't think of that either. The theme songs, like I can't think of the theme song, but
well, because this one had more of a co-opening with Kenshin riding against, escaping the 4 warlords and everything, and they made it all feudal Japan. And the way that you see it, it looks like the turtles are chasing them and the stuff because of the shadows. And then when it actually gets into the actual Ninja Turtles, like 3 things, they don't do like a montage of New York City or anything like that. They just show like the Ninja Turtles coming out dancing and then doing their own like spotlight karate martial arts.
The song at the beginning of the movie is just called Turtle Jam.
Wow.
Yep.
Turtle Jam?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Well, that explains it. This movie was really low budget. Like,
it had the highest budget out of any of them. I think it's because they had to build their sets, right? Is where the budget went.
mm-hmm.
Whereas, like, I mean, Turtles 1 and 2 are literally shot on location, right? Where these are clearly sets. You can see the matte paintings in the background and the terrible green screen, right? I mean,
the space is a lot smaller in the sewer in this than the second one, which it was more. Yeah, there's a lot more space in the second one.
Yeah, it was a believable abandoned subway, right? I mean, that's
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, kids, that's going to do it for this episode of Standard Definition TMNT edition. We will be back in a couple weeks with TMNT 2007, the animated film, which I am really excited to see. Question. Do we want to add the Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, the new Nickelodeon animated one?
Add it. After the Michael Bay movies.
Yeah. So there are six films, and then the Rise of TMNT, and then the Seth Rogen one, which we should do like that weekend it comes out. I mean that's like a year away, obviously. Like we're not gonna plan it now, but we should do that movie right when it comes out. That would be cool.
Did you see the one with Batman?
Yeah, I seen it. It's a DC animated one. That? It's really good.
Oh, you gotta watch that. It is good.
Corey doesn't watch the animated DC movies.
That's not true. So, I watched Rise of the Phantasm and the Red Hood movie.
Corey, there has been so many DC animated movies that have came out.
Yeah, I saw 3 of them. I'm good.
I can't with you. I cannot with you.
And the only reason why I watched Rise of the Phantasm is because I think there was a movie that we were watching that it was like a double feature at the drive-in, and we went, and that was the first one.
Oh wow!
Still watched it. Still counts. Well, again, that's going to do it. I want to thank everybody for watching and/or listening. Remember, you can catch Standard Definition on Mondays. For now, and remember to like, subscribe, share, rate, and review wherever you listen. You can follow Standard Definition on Twitter. You can follow the Boss Rush Podcast on Twitter at Boss Rush Podcast. Ed, LaMont, thank you so much for your time tonight. LaMont, where can we find you?
Oh, you can find me as TMNT Dork on Discord, on the Boss Rush Discord. You can also check out my articles for the Boss Rush, and also check out our Facebook group.
Yeah. Ed.
Yes.
Where can we find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter and on Instagram at ThatRetroCode, and you can check me out on Nintendo Pop Block and Expression Pass on BossRush.net and on our YouTube page, Boss Rush Network. Join us over Discord. You'll find me there talking games, snacks, writing, and more.
Snacks.
Yes. Gotta try those Mario Kart cookies.
I need to go find them.
Cookies.
Yeah. They look good.
You can find me at I am Corey HD on Twitter and Instagram. You can also find me on the Boss Rush Podcast and Nintendo Power Block and much more here on the Boss Rush Network. Remember to like, subscribe, share, rate, and review wherever you listen. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, we love you. Goodbye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Cowabunga!
Cowabunga!